Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Friday, June the 30th, 2017. It is the end of the week, it is the end of the month, and it is the end of the quarter and the half of the year. Going into the long weekend for Canada, July 1st, and U.S. for July 4th. My name is Doug McKay. I am the founder of Quantum Leap Futures. Each morning we get together on these live go-to sessions to take a look at the market, macro to micro, take a look at the structure of the market, and then we drill down to our trade levels, our targets, and our hypotheses. Yesterday was a very good case for why we create multiple hypotheses, of which usually two of them are for extension or trend type days. And that's because we never know what the market is going to do. We actually thought that the range was going to be rather tight yesterday, and it was anything but. Surprisingly enough, we trended, but then the day ended up as a normal variation day, which was surprising. I mean, basically rotated off the bottom 20 points. So it was quite interesting. Anyway, we create the multiple hypotheses in order to have a plan in place for whatever the market throws at us. That way we don't have to react on the fly. We have a plan and we simply execute the plan that the market is best suiting. This is a subscription room. If you're interested in checking it out, please send me an email at quantumleapfutures@gmail.com. There's no website. There's no blog. This is not a commercial venture. We do everything here live in the go-to, and then we do live trading and analysis during the course of the trading day. Please read through the disclaimer. Nobody at Quantum Leap is a certified trading advisor. We are retail traders operating within a self-organized learning environment. Past performance is not indicative of future results, and any trades that you see in Quantum Leap are for education purposes only. Please trade your own due diligence, your own trade plan, and your own risk metrics. Okay, so let's deal with the news first. We did have Canadian GDP month over month came out as expected, 0.2. RMPI came out at minus 1.8 versus minus 0.6. IPPI came out at minus 0.2 versus 0.4. U.S. core PCE price index came out as expected, as did personal spending. Personal income was actually slightly better at 0.4. 9:45, we've got Chicago PMI, and then 10 o'clock, we've got University of Michigan consumer sentiment and inflation expectation. And then at 10:30, we've got the Canadian Bank of Canada Business Outlook Survey. So a fair amount of news. Just remember that the volume is likely to drop off this afternoon as people are going to head into the long weekend, and because of the positioning of July 4th, likely going to be a long weekend right into Wednesday. If we take a look at the calendar, oh, I can't move my calendar. The July 4th is on the Tuesday, so a lot of people are going to take the Monday off and take off early today. So a lot of the hedge fund managers, etc., the head desk traders are going to leave early today. Taking a look at yesterday, we opened auction just inside a range. We had a driving characteristic, and this is so important when we're going into the RTH session to watch the type of open that we get. And I mentioned that this was, a possibility of an open test drive or an open drive. We got an open drive. They broke right through that LVN right away, and then they came back up into the mid and the VWAP and rejected it and pushed right down to the range low. At this point in time, we were anticipating that buyers were going to step in and rotate us back up, fight this LVN, okay, and then push back up into the upper distribution. They didn't. They failed. And when they broke the low of the prior day, everything fell apart. We were looking for the push down into the key line in the sand at 16. They fought that line, and then when it failed, we were looking for a push through. This actually shifted from 16 down to 1550. As I moved the line to reflect that, as it showed up on the microcomposite, and then I said if we came down and tested it again, that we'd likely break through and push down to that target at 11. They actually pushed right through all the way down to that naked VPOC and testing the 02.25, missing the key CLVN down here at 24.01.25 by 4 ticks. And then the buyers rotate, and we actually rotated 20 points up off of the bottom. So the buyers did step in yet again and bring us back into balance where we closed, and our VPOC shifted to the 1675 on the close. In the overnight session, you can see that the inventory is pretty equal. It's pretty neutral. We spent a lot of time below the close and the open, but when Europe opened, the buyers stepped in again, took us all the way back, testing this LVN from yesterday at the 2675. Put off a lot of volume, shifted the VPOC up, and you can see that the OTF has been very active. It's been active in the Globex. It's been active in the RTH. Yesterday, we actually, in the RTH session alone, we had 2,000,008 volume, which is almost double. It is double the normal volume for an RTH session. Overnight, we've had 229,000, so again a very heavy overnight session. We've got a key LVN right here at 23. I'm going to talk about that as an over-under line, large double distribution. But one of the keys is we're coming right back, okay, and our value area low is now shifted on the microcomposite down to 23.75, and the fact that we dipped down to the bottom of this microcomposite, we moved this over to incorporate that now. It doesn't shift the microcomposite VPOC. Value is still above at 35.50, but it does shift the value area down to the 1875, and we are trading in the value area of the microcomposite that now goes from 0525 versus the June 1st. And we've got a 2-day price acceptance down here at 17, and strong buying coming in. Yesterday, full session, and I have to check on the RTH, but yesterday's full session was the largest range of the day, 42.75. The second largest was 42, which was, I believe, this day right here. Yeah, I think it was this day right here. So this is the largest range of 2017 so far. So the key I want to point out here is we've been talking about the fact that our 20-period ATR had compressed below the 15 level, and we saw that there was OTF coming in the Globex for the last few days leading up. And what were we looking for? We were looking for that breakout, that expansion. Now the interesting thing is we got the expansion, but we didn't stay out of balance. We bounced right back to balance, which is unusual. So going over to the macro, taking a look at the macro, I always like to start my day using my paper money with a candlestick chart and a 9 EMA and 20 SMA, and I'm looking to see where we are within the trend, how good a slope and separation, strength of the trend, is it being challenged, is it changing in the different time frames. You can see beautiful upward trend, nowhere close to even getting to a challenge of the monthly trend. On the weekly, we came down again and challenged the trend and broke below the 9 EMA, but we closed right back up. So the trend is still intact on the weekly. On the daily, we have we broke below, took it back, broke below, and we're still below now on the daily. So we're starting to see the possibility of a trend change on the daily. On the hourly, you can see that we rolled over. Okay, they took it down. They created this technical gap. They came up and closed the technical gap, and so far we've rejected the 9 EMA from below, and the trend is starting to the downside. On the 1 hour, a little bit different story. We did have this strong trend, created the technical gap. They came up and fought the 9 EMA, and now they've closed above it. We're coming back to challenge it from above, but we've got a possible trend start to the upside on the 1 hour. On the 30-minute, it's weakening. On the 15-minute, it's broken back down below. And on the 5-minute, we've got acceleration and a downward trend after Europe taking us up. Overall, we're seeing the possibility of a trend change as we move down into the smaller time frames. Going back to the larger picture, key areas to watch today. Now we had a big, huge range on huge volume. It's going to be important to watch the volume and as it drops off. I think we'll make a bit of a move early in the day, but I think that we're more likely now to see a balanced day and likely rotation, okay, between the 11 and the 22. I'm going to be watching the 23 carefully. If we get above the 23, then I think we can get a move higher and start chopping around in this upper area between 22 and the 27 area. I'm only expecting about 7 to 9 points of range based on the big move. We could also very easily get stuck in the wicks here as a high probability and chopping between the 22 and the 11 and just spending most of the day fighting this CLVN at 1575. If we do not hold 11, then look for them to extend it down to explore the bottom part of the range and from yesterday and fill that in down there and probably chop around this 0405 area. I doubt we're going to dip into the 2400s. You're going to see a lot of defense of this 2400 area, so I don't think we'll slice right through it. If we can get above the 23, look for a rotation up to the 27, possibly the 30, and just basically chopping around in there. So taking a look at the overnight, we did create a double top, so we have a weak high at the 2675. I'll be watching for them to come up. I doubt we're going to get a composite or a Globex VPOC shift again. We'd have to come down and trade down in the 19s, for it to shift again. We've got the LVN here. It's kind of filling in. It was 23. It's now 22. I'm still using this LVN right here as my over-under line. The overnight high is 26.75. The overnight low is 15. And I'm going to put the VPOC in at 25.75. And that's about all the information. This will be a target right here at 1950. If we don't get above that 23, the month open is 2436.50. Our 20-period daily ATR is running at 1698. Therefore, our daily or our monthly critical mass is right here at 20. So if we get below 20 and hold it, okay, look for this to start drifting down into the close and see some capitulation of the buyers, although they've been there very strong. The daily upside and downside targets is 32 and 10. So we've got range capabilities, to chop, as we were talking about, inside the wick or inside of the upper distribution. Above the 23 and a quarter are over under. I'm looking for them to come up into the overnight VPOC at 25.75 and take out this overnight high. And then I'm targeting that 20, we had that 27 and a quarter, which was a key CHVN. I'm still going to use that as a target above the 23. And then there's a little bit of resistance just above it right here at the 28. It's getting a little bit crowded in this area. And then above that, I'm looking for the 30.75 and the mid-month. The mid of the month is 31.50. Now, statistically, we've been closing, okay, at a higher percentage above the month mid. So that's something that we have to pay attention to. Our microcomposite VPOC is at 35.50. And there's resistance up at the 40.50. Now would be a complete take-back day. Below us, okay, I'm going to be using, the 1575 is going to be a trade area. It's no longer a key line in the sand because we breached it. Key line in the sand actually moves down to the 0150. Sorry, 01 and a quarter. And I don't think we're going to see that today. And what else are we looking at? We're looking at that 1150. The LVN here at the 13. And the 0550. I'm actually going to go for this 06. And that's really it. The value area is not really valid, even though it is a volume, a normal variation day, but the trend and the extension doesn't really offer much in terms of a value area. So in terms of hypotheses, I'm looking for a rotational day with not a lot of range. So my main hypothesis is an open auction out of range, in range, a move down towards the, the 1675 and the, and closing the gap testing the overnight low and basically chopping and going sideways, finding some buyers and just slowly working our way up into the 27 area, and not expecting much. And the equal opportunity, hypo 2 or hypo 1B, is an open auction in range, a push up into the 26 to 27, find sellers and start rotating us down and chop around in the main distribution from yesterday around that 15, 16 area and going sideways. Hypo 3 is an open auction, an open test drive, leaving the overnight low alone, rotating up into the 2730 area and then pushing up back into balance at the 35.50 and chopping around here and possibly trying to break back above that 40.50. There is a single that we still left at 41.75 that still has not been taken out and needs repair. I doubt we're going to see new all-time highs. I doubt we're going to see a low below the prior day. But hypo 4 is an open auction in range, and then failure to hold above the 23 line, push down through to VPOC, chop around here and fail and come down and chop down in around the 05 to 1150 area and basically get stuck in this lower portion of the wick. Those are my main hypotheses for the ES. Gold continues to be affected, as Mark was saying. The Bank of England or Bank of Japan is really trying to deflate their currency right now, and gold can't find a bid right now, and we're broken back below that 42.40 area, and it's now actually shifted up to 42.70, and we could see further rotation down towards this 1233, 1232 area. If we get above the 42, look for them to come back into the 45 area. I mean, basically overnight we've just basically chopped in gold. I mean, a lot of fairly large rotations in gold. We're just coming off a $9.20 rotation down off of the high overnight, which was up at 48.20, and now we've got a $3.20 rotation up off of the low that was just put in off of the news that came out at 8:30. Anyway, that's going to complete our pre-market session. It is a holiday weekend, so be careful. There is no reason to put extensive risk on the table and have to spend a holiday weekend destroyed because you blew your emotional capital with getting stubborn in a trade. Take your losses quickly. If you've got profit for the week, profit for the month, it's not a bad day to just sit and watch and take the rest of the month off. As always, trade well, trade safe, and we'll catch you on the flip side.